Professor Alice Mackenzie tells the story of a young boy who looks out the window on the morning of his birthday, and he sees in the yard a huge pile of manure. And he races outside and starts shoveling the manure madly. And his friend asks, "What are you doing?" To which the young boy replies, "I know there's got to be a pony somewhere." Every single block of the temple may come falling down, but the birth pangs of an entirely new one are just beginning, Jesus says to these astonished disciples. Scholars have this rather lively debate about whether the Gospel of Mark was written just before or just after the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem around 70 CE. In either case, Mark was sitting at his desk writing when there was these rumors of insurrection. There were signs all around that a revolution was about to begin, and quite possibly he could see from his home outside the city this giant cloud of dust as the temple crumbled. Jesus' apocalyptic words about coming to the end, about wars and rumors of wars abounding, this was not news to Mark's hearers. This was Jewish apocalyptic language which was spoken through Jesus' mouth. The folks had heard these rumblings before. The twist in this tale is the very last line, when Jesus boldly proclaims that these are but the beginnings of the birth pangs. Something is going to come out of this destruction that you can't imagine standing watching those dust clouds rise from the falling buildings. There has to be a pony somewhere in the manure, right? It seems like the right day, Remembrance Day, to quote Winston Churchill, Britain's great World War II Prime Minister, when he admonished and he proclaimed, "Never give in, never give in, never, 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 never. In things great and small, in large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and of good sense." You've probably worked with a few of those folks who saw the end of the world or the end of an institution or even the end of your neighborhood in pretty much everything that happens. But Jesus seems to echo Churchill even in the face of the world as we know it. Never give in. Never stop treading water. Never stop digging. Never stop whistling. Because the birth pangs are about to start. Commentator Bill Loader sees two simple messages in this text. Name the terror, and defiant hope remains. Name the terror. Climate change is real. The pandemic is real. Hunger in our world is real. The pain of the indigenous community is real. And then, sisters and brothers, in the face of terror, defiant hope remains. The temple may indeed collapse right in front of you, but a kernel, a seed of hope is planted. Have you noticed a year after a lava flow, which destroys everything in its path, you'll actually see vegetation beginning to grow in places on top of the killing flow. A year after a forest fire literally clears every living thing in its path, ground cover goes up among those blackened trees. In this month's Broadview magazine, Christopher White is asked, "Is the church going to disappear?" And his answer is yes. He says the current form, the current chapter, as he calls it, of the church is coming to its end. And then he adds these final words, The opportunity before us is to write new ones. And that is both exciting, he says, and life-giving. Life-giving. Birth pangs. The somewhat dour delivery of Dr. Teresa Tam has accompanied us through this COVID pandemic. And I don't know if you noticed, but finally this week, without really a hint of excitement, she said that in her view, our current state will be over come spring. But the pandemic has brought down so many temples. We're only beginning, as Jesus says, to see the birth pangs on the horizon. What will be born is not yet certain. Last week, I had the funeral of an older woman from the Pearly Rideau Veterans Center, who over her 80 years sowed seeds of hope wherever she went and in everyone she met. She endured war and many painful transitions. And my friends, at her funeral, in the eulogies, and in the chatter afterwards, there was this incredibly bountiful harvest that was being reaped of a life that was truly well lived. The temple is coming down, Jesus says. Yes, it is. But already the birth pangs of something entirely new are beginning. Thanks be to God. Amen.